Officers don't want to get in a shooting. That's the last thing they want. And this officer is trying to prevent from shooting them.
A former law enforcement officer weighs in on newly released video of a deadly police shooting. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Chiquetto.
And I'm Marcella Lee. The dramatic body camera footage was released by the district attorney's office today.
It shows the moments a San Diego police officer opened fire on a man in Southcrest last August after the man ignored repeated commands to drop the chain and stop advancing on the officer. News 8's Kelly Hussedall is live at police headquarters with what a tactical expert is saying about the incident. Kelly?
Yeah, Marcella and Carlo, I spoke to actually two former police officers who both say this officer showed incredible restraint in this situation. Now, just to set the scene for you, police say before that officer arrived, that suspect had just attacked a man with a machete. Now, we should warn you, the video you're about to see is graphic.
Drop that now! Drop the chain!
He was in a real difficult situation, very dangerous.
Former SDPD officer and SWAT commander Ray Shea weighs in on this dramatic body camera footage taken last summer in Southcrest. Shortly after SDPD officer Corey Pitts arrived, authorities say the suspect hit his patrol car with a large chain. Pitts tries to tase him, but it doesn't work.
But a taser isn't that accurate. It's most effective 8 to 12 feet. Because once the taser's deployed, you can't reload it.
Authorities say the suspect, 48-year-old Von Denham, was high on PCP, marijuana, and meth.
When PCP hits, people are unusually strengthened. They don't feel pain. So sometimes in years past, when I was on the force, people had to be shot multiple times, and they were still able to aggress towards you because of the PCP.
Get down now!
And though Pitts repeats that command, Denham continues to move forward. The officer walked backwards for more than a block.
And if he falls down, it'd be very hard to shoot someone from a prone position on your back. So he took enormous risk backing up.
Pitts fires 2 shots.
Shots fired!
Former El Cajon officer Kevin LaChapelle says some would argue he would have been justified firing earlier.
That officers right now are under such scrutiny that many of them probably are afraid. What's going to happen if I do this? Am I going to go to jail and my family's not going to have someone supporting them, as opposed to them taking the action needed?
Drop it now!
As for why the officer didn't aim to hit him in the arm or leg.
And I don't know of a police department in the whole country that trains to shoot for an extremity because it's not realistic.
And that suspect was taken to the hospital where he died. The officer was not hurt. The district attorney's office review of the case concluded that that officer fired in his own defense. He was cleared of all criminal charges. Back to you.
Thanks, Kelly. More scattered showers fell around the county today, and we could see more overnight.
Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis is here now with a first look at your microclimate forecast. Carlene, more rain?
More rain. That seems to be the case going into tomorrow. We're still looking at a chance for showers. Right now, it's really isolated. It's calmed down a little bit. We are seeing some activity near Mount Laguna, also over Palomar Mountain, but that's about it. So earlier today, we had a lot more activity, a lot more rain that was falling across the county. Past 24 hours, more than an inch for Palomar Mountain, more than an inch as well for Julian, getting pretty close to a half an inch for Mount Laguna. And for downtown, we did have 0.13 inches of rainfall, hundredths of an inch for Chula Vista as well as for Escondido. So for tonight, we're still looking at some showers, and that looks to stick around, those chances at least going into our Thursday afternoon. Breezy as well out there, and the breeze will keep going for Thursday, but we will have some slightly warmer temperatures as well as more sunshine for Friday, and that will take us into Saturday. Taking a look at the model, setting it in motion, we're looking at some shower activity creeping up, more scattered showers all the way until tomorrow morning, so give yourself some extra time on your morning drive. We'll take a look at your complete forecast coming up. Back to you, Carla.
Thanks, Carlene. A battle over the future of Fiesta Island is pitting paddle boaters against dog owners. News 8's Amanda Shonsky is live with why boaters are pushing for a new road through the park and the key vote tomorrow that could help determine its fate. Amanda?
Yeah, changes are coming to Fiesta Island. Most say those changes are desperately needed, but this has become a battle between two proposals that affect the south side of the island. That is where the dog park is. As you might imagine, dog owners had something to say.
Even on a rainy day, you'll find tails wagging and pups playing at Fiesta Island Dog Park.
We come here every single day. This is our backyard, basically.
The unique space is surrounded by Mission Bay and provides one of the largest off-leash areas. So the idea that it might be changing is not sitting well with some dog owners.
I love San Diego, but as soon as they get rid of the Fiesta Island dog park, that's when I go look for somewhere else to live, because I freaking love this place.
There are 2 proposals going before the San Diego Planning Commission this week to upgrade Fiesta Island as a whole, from adding children's play structures and picnic areas to hiking trails and a concession stand. While neither proposal would get rid of the dog park, one, known as Plan A, would make it smaller by a couple miles to make room for a new road and a dedicated launching area for non-motorized boats. Carolyn Chase is the president of the group Fiesta Island Dog Owners, or FIDO. She's encouraging people to vote for Plan B, which would keep the dog park the same.
We don't need to pave any more of Paradise. This is low maintenance, very well used, 365 days a year.
But organizations like Team Survivor, a nonprofit paddle group, says the boat launch is a necessary change.
It needs to be in that area because the water, it's a 5-mile-per-hour water speed, and it would be the best location. Nobody in the paddling committee wants to not have a dog park. We want that, but we need to share the resources together.
In case you were wondering, the area where the tournament Over the Line is held will not be affected by these changes. Now, the council committee will be hearing both proposals A and B tomorrow morning. They could decide to go with either one, or they could decide to go with neither of them and go back to the drawing board. Back to you.
All right, Amanda, thanks. A judge has delayed the court-martial of U.S. Navy SEAL Edward Gallagher, who was accused of multiple war crimes. The delay is to allow lawyers to resolve questions over whether the government's monitoring of emails compromised Gallagher's right to a fair trial. He was scheduled to go on trial next week. The Special Operations Chief is accused of stabbing a teenage ISIS prisoner to death in Iraq and shooting at civilians.
Trial got underway today for a couple of San Diego sheriff's deputies accused of assaulting 2 men in Vista last year. The case stems from this arrest caught on camera after the 2 were called out to a domestic violence incident. The defense claims their actions were necessary considering the type of incident and neighborhood they responded to, as well as the dispatch audio on the 911 call. Both deputies remain on administrative leave for the trial. The trial against Kellen Winslow II continued today with graphic testimony from another accuser. The former NFL player is charged with raping 2 women and an unconscious teen. Jane Doe number 2 took the stand and testified about the day she claims Winslow raped her. She says that Winslow invited her for coffee, but instead drove his black Hummer out of town and told her they were going to have sex.
What did you think he was going to do?
I don't, rape me, I guess,
Were you afraid that he was going to assault you at that moment?
I was just scared. I thought it was the end of my life.
3 more women are expected to testify in the trial, which is expected to last into mid or late June.
Local groups against abortion joined a nationwide protest today against a medical waste hauler. The groups are calling for Stericycle to cut ties with Planned Parenthood. Stericycle is the largest medical waste disposal company in the U.S. It has a policy against collecting and disposing of human fetal remains, but protesters say it is still happening.
They are constantly found throughout the nation to be picking up fetal remains at the Planned Parenthood facilities. The drivers have confirmed that that's what they have in their bins that they take away.
Protesters also rallied in 23 other cities across the country. The Oceanside City Council decided tonight to postpone a vote on a controversial housing development. The North River Farms project promises to bring 600 new homes in an area southwest of Bonsall. Developers say it will feature a trifecta of community, housing, and farming. But residents say the development would lead to more traffic congestion, among other issues, and add there's no clear emergency evacuation plan. The developers now head back to the drawing board.
2 dogs are on the mend tonight after going on a wild ride in a stolen motorhome during a chase in Los Angeles last night.
A woman was taken into custody after crashing this RV rather. At one point during the chase, one of the 2 dogs jumped out of the window as the vehicle sped down a street. That dog suffered minor injuries. The other dog, seen chasing after the woman following the crash, was also injured and had a red cast put on her paw this morning.
She lets us clean her paw. She let us place the bandage on her paw. She's really a sweet dog.
Investigators are still trying to determine the relationship between the dogs and the woman. They want to know if they are hers. She, by the way, was taken into custody.
Good to see they're okay.
Yes.